Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
There are few new faces in our group today, and I would like to bring to people what exactly is happening in this group and what we do. I know most of us are very serious spiritual seekers, and in one or the other way we are connected with the Supreme Source, with our actions, with our prayers, doing meditation, yoga. And to be honest, I don't even know what is your background and your knowledge about that absolute truth. This all what we do here is to remember that absolute truth and to abide in that truth. And this absolute truth has no name, no form. This is not somewhere else. It is within and without. It is us. Our real self is that absolute truth. You don't have to go to a pilgrimage. You don't have to do anything for it. To know it, to be it, you have to be just quiet. You have to make your mind calm and serene and peaceful. And also to remember that to know this absolute truth, the rules are exactly opposite to what you do in this world. In this world, to know things, you use your mind. You judge, you analyze, you use your intellect. You plan, you desire, and you achieve. To start with, the rules are same. You listen to the teaching, you analyze, you contemplate. You convince your mind that this is a good stuff. This is reality. Let's work on it. Up to convincing your mind, working on it, it follows the same path as worldly matters. But then, as you grow into the wisdom, you know, you as awareness know that you are absolute. The mind which was preparing, which you made convinced, can never reach there. You should understand the problem, where the problem lies. The first and foremost is that mind is a gadget whose power supply is you as awareness, as consciousness. So mind cannot see the source. As objects, what you see from eyes cannot see your eyes. Your eyes cannot see your brain, which transforms the images taken by the eye. So the source cannot be observed by the mind or intellect. They can help you to prepare to be attentive to this self by not disturbing you. So if you ask me what is the role of mind in sadhana, in practice, in knowing the absolute truth, is not to disturb you, that's all. So all practice is to stop the vagaries of the mind, restlessness of mind. And then when mind is not restless, it's calm, it's peaceful, then your true nature manifests on its own. You don't have to do anything to know yourself because it is always there. It has not left you even for a second, even for a quarter of a second. Because there is so much of disturbance of the mind in waking, in dream, and in deep sleep you are ignorant of the mind, but then you are ignorant of the consciousness as well, which you are. And this noise of the mind is also constant. And so you don't realize your true nature. And why we do this, why we want to know our true self, why we are not just satisfied in this mind game. What is the need to do meditation? If you are satisfied with your mind and its game, then definitely there is no need to do meditation. No need to know yourself. This is only for people who are curious to know their self, whatever the underlying reason might be. Love for God, they know the suffering of the world, they want to transcend the mind and want to see the world as it is in its totality, in its reality. Maybe it's your destiny to know your true self. Whatever is the reason, everyone can have a different reason to know their true self. Or there might be no reason. It just comes from your own beingness. When we are searching for happiness, actually we are all searching to know this real self. Because it's 1,000,000 times more happiness than what you gain when your desired object is gained. I'll tell you the concept of why you feel happy when you desire something and you get it and you feel good. When the desired object is achieved or the target is achieved, whatever you want is achieved, you feel happy, satisfied, contented, joyous. Because at that time the mind drops. Mind has received the desired object and it dissolves in your beingness and you feel happy. Just imagine that your mind is always abiding in your pure self. Then what will be your state? Always happy, joyous, peaceful, blissful. Then you are not after any type of sensory pleasures. You will have no agenda to please yourself. You're always blissful, peaceful. Pursuit of happiness is the main goal or the only goal of all living beings. At least you can see human beings. But the path which we choose in worldly affairs is completely opposite. We think all the worldly things will give us happiness, but then it's our experience that happiness is momentary and then ends in a lot of suffering and pain. Abiding in your pure self is eternal joy, happiness, bliss and peace. It's not that your life will change outwardly. All the difficulties of the life will stay the same. Disease to the body, death of the near and dear ones, failure in profession, in finances, criticism from the people, or whatever actually makes you unhappy. But now you know that you're not interested in any of these things because you have found the peace within. So whatever happens outside doesn't affect you. It's as if you have given up the control of your happiness and sorrow from the outer world, and it's always switched on. Bliss is always overflowing. And what you need to do for this? You need to give away all desires. When you have no desires, you're always happy. Because you're not giving any work to the mind. If you understand this whole game, why would you desire things? Whatever comes in your plate, you accept it with total acceptance. And life will be so peaceful and smooth. No more it will be a bumpy ride. We have all lived our own life in this body-mind complex, and we have seen chasing these dreams. It keeps us on a roller coaster, joy and sorrow. It looks like we are puppets. Anything can make us happy, anything can make us unhappy. And when you go deeper to understand who is happy and unhappy, who is that person in us, when you deeply search with all sincerity, you will realize there is no one. It was a fake concept. And this fake concept is called as ego. This fake concept is the one who believes that he is this body-mind complex. It's true that we have a body and mind to experience this beautiful world. But this is also true that we are not this body-mind. We are much, much bigger, vast than body-mind. We were there even before this body-mind came into being, and we will be there even when this body-mind drops or is dead. Almost all religions believe afterlife, after death, because it's true. This body-mind is only there for a time being, and we are eternal. We never die. We are never born. How to have that knowledge, not just an intellectual knowledge, but our own experience. Only in silence. In perfect deep silence. When you are not giving any work to the mind, when you don't have any strong likes or dislikes, you're not judging, you're not critical, you're not desiring for anything. When you're accepting things as they are, when you see harmony even in this chaos, when you're full of gratitude for whatever you have received, when you live a life without any rights, when you are humble, when you live like a child, innocent, when you drop all the cunningness of the mind, lust, greed, anger, jealousy, illusion of this world, and all this can happen if you abide in your own silence. This silence is key to all answers. Silence is your real self. Your mind can never grasp this silence, nor your intellect. This silence is bliss. It is the kingdom of God. It is your true self. When you go back to the time when you were a child, innocent, not using your mind, perhaps you were 3 years old or 4 years old. You were that pure self. Go back to that and stay like that in this world. All this contamination is because of the culture, conditioning, concept after concept after concept, and so many desires, unfulfilled desires. So many attachments and aversions. Life becomes like a spider web, very complex. All this complexity arises from the mind. Drop the mind and you are free forever. Always abide in your own silence. All the work happening with this body-mind will continue to happen. Only the doership is gone. The ego is gone. Remember, with even a trace of ego, you cannot realize your true self. Ego is nothing but a fake concept that there is an owner. There's an owner of this body-mind complex who is driving the things, who is achieving, who has success and failure. What happens to the same ego and its control when you dream at night? And what happens to this body, which is lying in bed and you see a dream in which you are moving, and not just one body, but you see other bodies doing different things. And there also you have a mind, intellect, you think, you act, you feel good and bad. And then that dream breaks when you wake up in morning. What is that? If that was a dream, completely false, and you agree with that and you're convinced, then what is this dream, this waking dream? Here again, the same mind has created the whole world. How can you trust the same mind again? Where was this word when you were dreaming in your sleep? Where this word went? Now this dream can also be broken, but this dream can be broken only by the grace of that absolute power. And that grace is within you. How to achieve that grace is by keeping quiet, staying in silence, not giving any work to your mind, and then ignoring all types of thoughts, not acting on thoughts. When you practice that, you become silent within. You become a person of few words. Even if you lie, it becomes truth. When you speak from that beingness. You're always contented and happy. Even in a cave, in a mountain, in a forest, you're never lonely. Always happy and joyful with bliss of your own self. No one can make us free. No one can bind us except our own mind. Give away the ownership of the mind. And give your mind rest. It has helped you in all your life. Now know what you are. Transcend your mind. When you sit and meditate, you feel peaceful. You abide in your silence. And if you are not a sthit pragya means knowledge, wisdom. And sthit means you are established in it forever. When you come and go out of this silence, the aftertaste by the mind feels bliss. And for mind it's like an experience. And it wants this experience again. It's exactly like when you go into deep sleep and you come out of it and you have a blissful taste of that deep sleep, but you were not aware when you were in deep sleep. This is the fragrance of your own self. With practice, you can be in this silence all the time. In this silence, all the doubts vanish and the wisdom dawns on you. And the wisdom is that we all are one, without any difference. Everything is one consciousness. And because you know that everything is you, you cannot hate anything. There is unconditional love for every being, sentient, insentient. Everyone is your friend, family. When we work as a person, when we think that we are a person, it divides us. Ego, individual identity, personalized self, the lower self, is the problem. When your mind goes into rest and you stay as your pure awareness, impersonal self, absolute truth, then you know nothing is other than you. You are the substrata. You are the screen on which all this play is happening. When Jesus said, "You can reach my Father only through me," when he said me, his me was this absolute truth, the pure self, not a person known by name Jesus in body and form. We can only reach that state only through this pure self. Self without mind, self without desires, self without ego. It is the purest of pure. Here there is no doership. And it's none other than you. This is end of all the sufferings. And the good thing is you don't have to do anything to be in this state. You have to drop all the doings in your mind. Remember, things are happening on their own. Absolute power, which is running the whole show, is also taking care of this body-mind complex. If you contemplate on this, your ego will dissolve and your mind will rest in your heart and you will be free forever. Remember, you are not a person. You are just a pure presence, formless awareness. As a pure witness, observing, watching, but not analyzing, not judging. Like a child, so innocent, does not know who is family member, who is not. Only if we teach him that this is your mom, this is your dad. Go back to those days when you were completely free, without any concepts. That is your true nature. To go back there, you have to unlearn all the tricks Leave away all the smartness. This is the surrender to God, with God in your heart. Stay in your purity. All the religions points to this purity in different ways. Watch your body and mind as you're watching a stranger. Don't get involved in anything. Have this detachment, staying as a witness. Pay attention to this pure awareness rather than paying attention to the mind. Let thoughts come and go. You stay in your own silence. When you have no interest in any thought, they will disappear. They come as dancing damsels to entice you. But if you are not interested, they will disappear. And you will have less and less thoughts. And soon there will be only silence. have keen interest in this pure awareness. Pay attention to this pure awareness through which you're watching whatever is happening. But remember, you're a witness. You're not involved. In reality, as pure awareness, you are never ever involved. You're never bound. You have no karmas, good or bad. And you're always free. It is a big misconception that we are this body-mind complex. So somewhere we all know that we are not this body-mind. That's why we see people dying all the time. But it doesn't come to us that we will die as if we are eternal. This is because we are eternal. We are unborn. Always stay as that eternal awareness. We all want to help people do good acts, do good to the community. Staying as our true self will be the biggest help to everything, biggest help to humanity. With divinity within, without ego, body will only do good things, whether you want it or not. Without any pride. Abide in your own silence all the time. Remembering yourself is remembering God. remembering the truth.